Okay, so we're gonna get started. This live will be free Reiki. Reiki is a form of energy healing. All you need to do to accept it is just watch. I do Usui Reiki, and Usui Reiki originated in Japan. Reiki is good to reduce stress and anxiety, and it could also help promote healing. So if you have something in your body that you're trying to heal, like say you're healing from a surgery, it can help promote healing. So Reiki is not a replacement for medical treatment. It works in conjunction with medical treatment. Okay, so to get started, I always pick a card from this deck, the Daily Crystal Inspiration, to see what the collective energy is. In this deck, there is a note that says, when you open your heart and trust yourself, the universe will always guide you in the right direction. So let's see what we got. Rainbow Obsidian, heal your heart. Rainbow Obsidian, heal your heart. So we will do some heart Reiki. I also wanted to show everyone my new crystal, because I have a large crystal collection. I know people love to see my crystals because they get, to learn about different crystals. So this is my first time hearing about this crystal. It's a rainbow optical calcite. So I don't know if you can see it, but like the little rainbows. This is a very nice crystal. I had never seen this before, so I just got this a couple of days ago on Saturday. And this crystal rainbow optical calcite is good for cleansing your aura. So let's start with that. Sending some Reiki to cleanse the aura. It looks like a big ice cube. Okay, so a little bit of start with cleansing the aura. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is heart Reiki, because that's the card we got. Rainbow Obsidian, heal your heart. Okay, so I'm gonna send some Reiki to the heart chakra. So if you are feeling grief from anything, it could be a breakup, you've lost someone close in your life, if someone passed away. It could be grief over, just feeling depressed and you don't know what it is, or losing a job, whatever the situation is. Okay, so that was a little bit of Reiki for the heart chakra. So what I'm going to do is now go through the rest of the body. So I'm going to go through the crown chakra, the third eye, the throat. I'll pass through the heart again, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root. So that'll help balance some of the energy in those areas. Also, it will be helpful if you have any conditions going on. So say you have a pain condition, or you're healing from something, or say you have like a sore throat or a cough. Once I pass through those areas, you should feel some relief in some of the pain or things that you're experiencing in your body. So I'm going to start with the root chakra. Moving to the sacral. Next, I'm going to move to the solar plexus. A little bit of the heart because I did that in the beginning. And next we're going to move to the throat. sending a little protection to your body and health. Okay, so that was some Reiki for the whole body to help heal your body. Let's see, what should we do next? I think we should do some for financial abundance. So if there's something in your life that, you financially are looking forward to. So maybe you're going to be getting a new job, or you want a promotion, or you need money to help pay rent for next month, or you just need help paying bills. Try to think openly, meaning there's creative solutions to my financial problems. We never know what it can be. It can be that a bill gets covered by insurance, like health insurance. It could be that a stimulus comes, right? Some type of, like say for student loan relief or something. Something can help, and you may not know where it's coming from yet. So take a minute to just clear your mind and say, I accept creative possibilities for financial abundance, because you never know what that can be. Maybe you'll get a new job, promotion. Even if it seems hopeless, that you feel like there's no way money can come into my life, you never know how that can happen. Maybe you'll find $20 on the street. I don't know how safe it is to pick money off the street, but because sometimes, there's stories of like they're putting stuff on it, so maybe it's not safe. But sending Reiki for any money that you find to be safe. Karma? Hey, Karma. My dog's name is Karma. She likes to act up when I'm on lives. Right, babe? Okay, so that was some for money. Let's hope everyone on this live gets some extra money. Okay, so I'm going to put the comments on. So if you have any questions about Reiki or crystals, you can ask me. Before I do that, I want to pick another card. In the beginning of the live, we picked Rainbow Obsidian Heal Your Heart. Let's see if there's a new collective energy. Angel light support is all around you. I have an angel light crystal here. It looks exactly like this. Angel light support is all around you. So just know that whatever we did today, whether it be to help heal your body or to welcome in financial abundance, that the universe and support is around you. If you'd like to book a private session with me, the link is in my bio. It's $55 US for 1 hour on Zoom. If you'd like to get certified with me for Reiki, you can send me an email, theselfcarelibrarian@gmail.com. Okay, so I'm going to turn on comments. Hi, everyone. Hi, I live in the US. I live in New Jersey. You're welcome. Yeah, Reiki's universal energy. It's just tapping into energy, so it can work remotely. Oh, the rainbow crystal? Oh, okay. So my new crystal that I just got, it's called Rainbow Optical Calcite. Let's see. Valerie, you sent me an email around the 18th. Oh, about classes. Was it about classes? Or was it you asked me about how to send Reiki through your hands? I needed the money affirmation so much today. I hope that everybody here receives some type of money. Thank you, Maribel. Oh, your husband was sick and he fell asleep. I hope that he got some of that Reiki energy. Yeah, I'm finished for now. I'm just going to answer some questions. Oh, Valerie, I'll get back to you. I haven't been great at doing the classes because I do a lot of lives, but I do have to get back to the classes. Pippa, so I've been through Pippa, the small girl. I've been through a spiritual awakening, but at the same time really falling apart. So when you go through your spiritual awakening, I think people, because it says like awakening, people think, oh, it's just an all positive thing. And spiritual awakenings are very hard. So, because when you go through spiritual awakenings, first you're doing your shadow work. My hair's a mess today. I fell asleep last night on my hair, so it's like a mess when it was wet. Okay, so when you're going through a spiritual awakening, first you start going through your shadow work, meaning you start looking into things, maybe trauma in your past, or maybe things that happened to you in your past that you're trying to heal. So when you're revisiting those things, it doesn't feel good. So it is very difficult when you're doing your shadow work, when you start going through this spiritual awakening. Then you start learning about all these different spiritual things and you start questioning life. Like, do I want to keep this job, or do I want to do something spiritual, but I can't leave this job because I need money? So you start questioning all your decisions in life. And it's very difficult to know like what you're going to do next. So I would say for someone who's going through their spiritual awakening, it takes time. It's not like 2 months. I mean, I've been into spirituality and crystals forever, but I would say I probably really went through my spiritual awakening in 2020. And, I would say 2020, 2021 was really difficult for me because of it. So just know that although it is difficult, it does get better. It just takes some healing before you can get to that part of feeling better. Maya, I hope you're feeling better after this live. You're a level 2, I love it. It's very hard. Well, Pippa, I hope some of this Reiki brings you some type of abundance financially. Hi, so Reiki is energy. So if you're looking really from a scientific perspective, it's not really going to be scientific. Reiki is universal energy. You're tapping into source energy. I was so excited to get this crystal because I hadn't heard of this crystal before, the rainbow optical calcite. Yeah, spirituality brings a lot of joy with it. Again, brings a lot of processing, the things that happened in your life to heal. So it is hard as well. Oh, you had more ups and downs when you started Reiki. So I don't know whoever taught you Reiki, not everybody talks about this, but when you learn Reiki, you go through a 21-day detox every time you're attuned, meaning you're attuned Reiki 1, attuned Reiki 2, attuned Reiki 3, and attuned Reiki 4. Attuning means that your Reiki teacher is sending you attunement so you can learn the symbols with Reiki to start doing them. 21 days after you're attuned at any point, after every attunement, you go through something called a 21-day detox. It's not a physical detox, meaning you're drinking smoothies and cutting out food. You go through a spiritual detox. So every time I was attuned for Reiki, the 21 days after were the worst days for me. They were incredibly hard. I regretted learning Reiki and being attuned because they were so hard. So just know every attunement, you're gonna have 21 days of a spiritual detox, which can be difficult. So you're not gonna feel great in those 21 days. And then after that, your life changes because when you introduce Reiki into your life, it keeps you more aligned to what you're supposed to have. So say you're dating someone. This happened to me when I got attuned in the beginning. I was dating somebody. I thought everything was great. The whole relationship fell apart like a couple of days later because that relationship was not supposed to be in my life and that guy was not supposed to be in my life. So that's, even though, yeah, Reiki is a good thing in the long run, when you learn Reiki, it's not easy. Alina, I'm sorry to hear that your brother passed away. Sending you love. Sorry for your loss. Karma sleeping right now. Can it happen when you're not fully aware of it? Of course, I wasn't aware of it. I didn't know this was happening. I just felt like weird. I felt weird. I felt down. My energy didn't feel great. And after I started to get more used to Reiki and started to know, to trust Reiki, that what's supposed to be for me is going to come into my life in alignment, I accepted that what was happening for the greater good. Oh, you're welcome. I think a lot of Reiki practitioners, they don't mention that 21-day detox, and people really should know that. The spiritual detoxes are very, very intense. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, like when I said the spiritual detox, I cannot tell you how every time I try to put myself in a dating situation, how the date would just fall apart or the relationship would just fall apart because those people weren't in alignment with my energy. So sometimes when you're going through this spiritual detox, you keep trying to push for a certain outcome, but it may not be the outcome that's aligned for you and it won't stay in your life. Do I have my third eye open? Well, I always work to have it open because when you are a Reiki practitioner, you should always balance all your chakras. That's the best way to protect yourself, is to keep all of them balanced and aligned. Exactly. Internal and external forces. It's crazy. Until you've been through this spiritual detox, it's hard to understand or explain, actually. The 21-day detox is anytime you get attuned. An attunement is how you receive your ability to do Reiki. Meaning, if you take a class with me, I attune you to Reiki 1 and 2. I attune you to the Reiki symbols so you can start using them. That attunement puts you energetically more in alignment. So say you have a job that's not aligned for you, you may start to say, I don't want this job anymore. Some people, their health changes. They can say, I want to be vegetarian. I don't want to eat meat anymore. There's so many things that can happen to you in this spiritual detox. Karma. My dog is licking the floor. To open your third eye, maybe if you have crystals, try to use them. Karma, come here. If you know how to do Reiki, to open your third eye, I'll give you a tip. Imagine your own head, right? And imagine the space between your eyebrows. And imagine that energy is closed, like almost like a zipper. And you are pushing the energy apart, like you're trying to push a zipper. That would be a lot of resistance. But say you were able to pull that zipper open, and then say a sweater was open because you pulled the zipper open. Then you would feel the energy effortlessly flowing. So I would say that's a method to try to open your third eye. Imagine that the energy is closed and you're stretching the energy open to have a clear channel of energy going through it. You had a recent experience with your husband that brought you back to trauma you suppressed. Yeah. You know, just know when you start to remember trauma, that maybe you've dissociated, because I have dissociated memory from a childhood. So sometimes I have a difficult time remembering years, large chunks of times of my life because of my dissociated memory. Usually that's related to a traumatic experience or just overall trauma as a child. So just know when the universe allows you to remember this trauma, that you're in a space that you're strong enough to remember it and to start to work through it and heal. It's good to have a therapist to work through this, because although spirituality and Reiki is good for these things, I would say to do your shadow work is always good to process it with a therapist. Waterfall flowing top to bottom, that's a good one. Jamie, try to give yourself some grace of that you're in the space that you can handle whatever you're going to remember. Hi, lovely. So shadow work is, okay, so an example would be, say you've always been someone who's just tried to disassociate or avoid. So you know a lot of things have happened in your life. You've struggled as a child or teenager, you've struggled with your family, or certain things have happened to you that you're aware of that have been difficult. But instead, you choose to avoid it. You don't want to think about it, you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to go to therapy because you're too scared of it, or you're too fearful of how it's going to make you feel. And say either you avoid those things or you start doing toxic positivity, meaning I'm just going to think positive and I'll feel better. What that does is you avoid doing your shadow work. The shadow work is processing the things that have happened to you, the trauma, the things in your past, and to heal through them in a healthy way. So that's what shadow work is to no longer avoid the things that happened to you, to heal from them. So things that can help with shadow work is a therapist is going to be the most helpful. There's something called EMDR therapy. I've done that. That is really good for like PTSD and trauma. Journaling is good. So if you can work through how you're feeling and write it down. Of course, Reiki is helpful as well because it can help energetically, like send you love, like a warm blanket. Things like somatic exercises, like moving your body and getting the trauma out of your physical body helps too. So there's a bunch of different things, but shadow work is really facing your shadows, which your shadows are the parts of you that you have hidden. So you've hidden the trauma, you've hidden the inner child that's hurt. Those pieces of you that you've hidden all these years are the shadows you need to work on. Yeah, doing shadow work is very hard. You're welcome, Sarah. I think a lot of people don't discuss shadow work because we are in this culture of the toxic positivity, meaning I see an uplifting quote and yeah, that's great. I'm just gonna like it and say my day is better because I saw this uplifting quote. So there's a balance. I post uplifting content because it's good to take time out of your day to be grateful and positive, but when you're only positive and you don't deal with all the things that have happened to you, you ignore your shadow work and just kind of live in a toxic positive world. That's the easiest way to explain it. And sometimes people will say, oh, you're feeling sad, just meditate. It's not gonna work. You can try to meditate, but if you just ignore the things that you have to process and heal, just meditating is not gonna fix it. And if you're in a place that you're dealing with your shadow work and you're remembering a lot of your trauma, just know something like meditation is gonna be difficult for you. So don't, be upset with yourself if you can't meditate because you're healing at the moment. Thank you, Christy Jenkins. So podcasts are amazing, especially if you Spotify. Like I have the free version of Spotify, so I have ads. So you can get the free version of Spotify. Podcasts are usually free on Spotify. On YouTube, sometimes podcasts will have the YouTube videos. So that's how I learned a lot and did a lot of healing, was by free content. So podcasts and YouTube. So if you don't have the money at the moment to spend on a therapist, which I know it's really hard to find therapists these days too, you can start by doing podcasts and YouTube. So the books, Louise Hay, Heal Your Body. Louise Hay, Heal Your Body is a very small book you can find on Amazon. It's a little tiny pamphlet book that tells you the emotional reason for you to have something in your body. So say you have a headache, it can tell you the reason why you have the headache from an emotional perspective. Again, my hair is a mess today. Again, this is not replacement for medical treatment. So if you have a headache, you would still take ibuprofen if you can, or an aspirin or Tylenol, whatever. But in addition, you can also heal the emotional part. Another book I mentioned was How to Do the Work. From How to Do the Work from Dr. Nicole LaPera. She's the holistic psychologist on Instagram. So this goes into inner child healing a lot. So if you're trying to work through some things that happened to you as a child, this is going to be really good for you. How to Do the Work, Dr. Nicole LaPera, and this is the holistic psychologist. Now, she gets some criticism because she treats things holistically. So it is good to check out her Instagram and see if her content resonates with you before you buy the book. The other book, What Happened to You? This book is by Oprah. Oprah wrote this book with a doctor, Bruce D. Perry. This book is more extensive. So this book is going to go into some inner child stuff. It's going to go into some PTSD as well as systemic issues. So systemic things like racism and systemic society, things that can cause trauma as well. So I would say that this book is more thorough, that it's going to cover all different forms of trauma. The book there's a lot of content here and the text is small. So this may take a little bit longer to read. And you can see I have all these pages folded because there's a lot of content in here to digest. So I would say that this one is a little more in detail. If you want a book to really focus on inner child stuff, I would suggest this. I do feel this is a little bit of an easier read because the text is bigger and it's written from a more holistic perspective, which I do feel like this is written from a little bit more of a medical perspective. So I always teach on my live and my profile both the medical perspective and the holistic, because both of them are valuable. So these are the books I would suggest for healing, and they're different, but I think they're both valuable. Yeah, so those are my book suggestions. I've read other books too, but they're just more spiritual based. But I would say from a healing perspective that you're working on your shadow work, I would suggest those two books. And learning Reiki is great if you're healing too. But what I would say is, in my experience, I've seen a lot of people jump to Reiki without doing their shadow work. And that is difficult because when you jump to Reiki and you haven't done your shadow work and you start trying to heal others, your stuff is going to come up. You can't avoid doing your shadow work. So I've seen people personally who've jumped into Reiki because they're like, oh, I'm going to start healing others, but they haven't worked on themselves. And the easiest way to say it is you can't skip the process. Even if you go that route, your shadow work is going to come up in your life, especially learning Reiki, because once you're attuned, your energy wants to be in alignment with what's meant for you. And to be in alignment, you have to do your shadow work. Podcast recommendations. Okay, so this is going to be more of a life coach podcast. So there's this podcast, let me get the name. Okay, so one of the podcasts that have helped me the most is called Unfuck Your Brain by Kara Lowenthal. So Kara Lowenthal is a life coach. Now, Kara is not spiritual. She doesn't really believe in all this woo-woo stuff. It is very much from a brain perspective. This is how your brain processes information, and this is how you can turn thoughts neutral. That podcast, I would say, was the most helpful for me to process information and to understand how my brain works. So that would be my recommendation for that. Now, there is another podcast from Dr. Nicole LaPera, who wrote this book. She has a podcast too. Let me get the name. I think it's a Self-Healer Circle. And that one I do listen to occasionally. But that podcast is heavy, meaning you have to be in a pretty good mood to listen to it. If you're feeling depressed, it would be hard to process that podcast. Okay, it's called the Self-Healer Soundboard. So I enjoy that podcast, but I have to be in the mood for it, meaning if you're not in a great place because you've been doing your shadow work, that one is not uplifting. It's more of healing yourself and really doing your work. So I would say I do love that podcast. It's very helpful, but just know, be in the right mindset before you listen to that. You have to get certified into Reiki, and certified meaning attuned. So you have to have a master Reiki teacher attune you, which is a certification. Reiki is not a closed practice, so you don't have to be born or have lineage into it. You get attuned into it. Oh yeah, Reiki is great for so many things. And also, there are a lot of different types of Reiki. I do Usui Reiki. Usui Reiki is the Reiki that originated in Japan. There are different types of Reiki. People do angelic Reiki, different forms. I don't study those. So you will come across that depending on who you follow. They may be doing different types of Reiki. Unfuck your brain. UNFU*K, your brain. And that podcast you can get free on Spotify. Oh, and this is important to mention. I've mentioned a lot of different tools. If these tools don't resonate with you, don't do them. So say you listen to this podcast, you don't like the person's energy, don't listen to it. If you try to read that book and you're like, you know what, it's not for me, then that's fine. And that's what's important when you're doing shadow work or when you're in your spiritual journey, is not everything's gonna be for you, and that's fine. Even if you trust me and you trust these recommendations and you say, you know what, I don't like it, that's fine. And that's the important part with you on your spiritual journey. Never listen to everyone without questioning. If someone gives you advice and it doesn't resonate with you, say, you know what, thanks for the advice, it's not for me. Because that's how we get sucked into putting people on pedestals. They know it all, and nobody can know it all. So that's what I say when I give you advice like this. If it doesn't resonate with you, you can ignore it. If you want to try to rent these books from the library, maybe that would be good too, because then maybe if you don't like the books, you don't have to purchase them. All right, so I will sign off if there aren't any other questions. So thank you everyone for joining. If you would like to book a private session, you can go to my profile and there's a link. It's $55 for 1 hour on Zoom. Well, it's 45 minutes to an hour, depends. Sometimes it takes less. And it's on Zoom, so it'll be on camera, and we'll work through any of the energetic stuff that's going on. And if you want to be certified in Reiki 1 and 2 by me, just email me. In my profile, there's an email. It's theselfcarelibrarian@gmail.com, and I can give you information on certifications. Okay, thank you, everyone.